From performing worldwide to drinking around the world.
From reality TV bombshells to weaponizing my BFA.
From behind the scenes
to on your screens.
Or headphones, we don't judge.
We're holding space for hot takes.
I'm Kaylin.
I'm Jacob.
And this is The Childless Millennials.
I always try to listen to a political podcast, like when I'm driving to work, but like the last 3 have been like horrible. And I was like, why am I listening about like who Laura Loomer is? I should be listening to K-pop Demon Hunters.
Correct.
And so I was listening and I was like following along with the lyrics, but I like really feel myself when I say that, Kisoke, but like, I don't know what they're saying. And then I was like, is that offensive that I'm like saying it?
The pronunciation honestly doesn't sound off. So if the pronunciation is in the pocket, then like do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Don't be like, because I'd be scatting. I'd be like, zooba zooba, ba da da boom, doodle boom, bop, skita bop bop, doodle doo. Like, you know what I mean? Like, find it however you need to find it.
Yeah.
Like, and that'll, feel it in your spirit.
Thank you.
Seal the HONMOON, okay?
No, period. Okay, anyway, so spoiler alert, we have a guest today, but I'm not introducing her yet. But we will be talking about K-pop Demon Hunters. But first, because we started with headlines.
Yes.
So really quick, I searched millennial. There was a Slate article that was like bad news for millennials and Gen Z, and I was skimming the article, and it's basically that we're dying.
Oh.
Where like the mortality rate is dropping, and I was like, we're not talking about that. What I did just want to talk to you about as childless millennials on the pod was that it was told to me this week by someone that, America's just, it's not friendly to families. So I figured that like a public Facebook post is like, that's okay to talk about on the pod.
I think so.
So someone that I know basically took, they brought their newborn baby to a Disney on Broadway show. And when they got there, Disney said, you need to buy a ticket for the baby.
Okay.
And they have special lap seats that are $57.
Okay.
I think it's ridiculous that the baby had to pay for a ticket. I do. I think it's whatever. However, what I had to have a conversation with this person was like, if you brought your baby to the Book of Mormon, they would have not allowed them in the theater.
Yeah.
And so they were like using this as an example of like discrimination.
Okay.
To like Disney's not being friendly to families. And I said, they actually are being friendly to families by having a policy that allows you to bring your baby in. And also, what are we talking about? America's not friendly to families. Like, have you heard of the child tax credit?
Yeah.
The new bill that like, basically, if you have a kid, you get a front of the line to Medicaid. Also, y'all get to board planes first. I just was...
Yeah. Well, and also, like, my thought process behind it, the like, extra ticket thing, is not necessarily an attack on the family or, like, the family structure, but more so as a way to... I mean, my interpretation of it is, like, yes, you can bring your kid. The fact that you have to pay means that you understand that your child also needs to be respectful of other paying patrons.
So what I said was they're actually, in my opinion, from what I know of Disney and how inclusive the company really does try to be, they obviously fail sometimes, is that I was like, they're protecting you because if somebody goes to the box office and says, I don't want to sit next to a 3-week-old.
Yeah.
Also,
a 3-week-old baby in a Broadway theater is work.
Crazy. But I don't want to sit next to a 3-week-old. Can you move my seat? Then the box office can say...
They're a paying guest.
They're a paying guest, and we have to honor and respect all paying guests. The reason that I think it's $57.50 is because, well, now we're just... It's America, so then people will bring in their 8-year-old and be like, no, they're under the age of 3, so they're going to sit on my lap. Like, everybody would want their kid to just... Everybody would just want to buy their kid a lap seat because most kids sit on their parents' lap for the show anyway. So they have to, like, name a price. I just was like, people frustrate me because, like, especially at Disney, I understand they make terrible decisions sometimes, but I'm like, there's probably, like, 74 people that were on the committee to figure out this policy.
Yeah. And
it's not a decision that was made in a vacuum.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't have kids, obviously. I never will. So I'm just speaking from like a completely outside perspective, but and I'm no capitalist by any means. I'm like, well, if they're in the show, they have to make money. Like, no, I don't think that's family unfriendly. Nor do I think it's necessarily indicative of like a problem that America has of not being friendly to families. I mean,
having to pay
like
for your children.
From a governmental standpoint, we're actually trying to force people to procreate and have families. So it's like I actually think America is very pro-family.
Yeah. Well, I was like, the issue is not that America is not family friendly because you have to pay for your child. The problem is that America is a capitalist nation and everything costs money.
Yes.
Now, if you think that you're
entitled,
if you think your children are entitled to free leisurely activities, but I just will wrap this up by saying the privilege to be talking about an experience of taking your kids to a Broadway show, that's an experience I never had as a kid.
Yeah.
So I was like, to use that as an example of discrimination, really kind of did not sit well with me.
Yeah. It's a very privileged conversation to be having and a very privileged thing to be upset about.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that. I just, we need to review the thesis of the Childless Millennial podcast every now and then. But I'm very excited, everybody, because we've only had one guest on the pod so far.
We had one guest in season 1.
One guest in season 1. This is our second guest in season 2.
Oh my God.
So exciting. And this started because I was voice memoing this person about K-pop Demon Hunters. Mm-hmm. And then before even listening to the voice memo, I was like, we just need to have them on the pod. I can't continue this conversation. Because the person that we're having on is not only a musical theater aficionado, not only a K-pop stan, not only a anime fan. Her voice could seal the HONMOON.
It's true.
Herself.
She is my personal cheetah girl.
Yeah. She's a DCOM Live star.
Correct.
We have Bryce Charles on the show.
You guys, that intro. I'm honored. Also, y'all are doing too much with that intro. I got all shy and stuff. Thank you for the kind words and the warm welcome.
Is there anybody in the world that do you know anybody else that K-pop Demon Hunters is a more perfect amalgamation of all of the things that they are passionate and care about?
Honestly, not personally in my life, but they exist, and I do feel seen, I have to say, because there are a lot of people out there. My algorithm on Instagram has been overcome by K-pop Demon Hunters fan art and different videos and stuff, and I see so many people who have a lot of the same reactions to me of loving the anime action and just the animation style in general. It's gorgeous. It's so beautiful to look at. But then also appreciating the musical theater storytelling and the lyrics and everything. And then also just loving all of the K-pop cultural elements that are embedded in the film. So I'm like, okay, we are out here and it's pulling in people outside of the K-pop world, you know what I mean? It's a good gateway into K-pop. There are a lot of people in my life who are like, I thought it was cute that you love K-pop, but I let you have that, and I wasn't trying to, I wasn't actually trying to get to know K-pop the way you know it, but now they're like, please teach me more about K-pop.
Yeah.
Please guide me through this world of music and the boys, the Saja boys.
The Saja boys.
Because for me, I'm a K-pop stan, but I really be looking at the boy groups. I really be following them.
I'd be looking at the girl group.
And that actually tracks.
Yes.
That absolutely tracks.
Both of these statements make sense. And I'm like, I am respectfully looking at both.
Yeah. Do you know Ashley Espinoza?
Yes, of course.
From Voctive. She sent me a video today of her son doing
the
a little soda pop.
Yeah, because what I love is that, speaking of childless millennials and childful millennials, my friend Jenny, who listens to the pod, literally replied to one of my K-pop Demon Hunter stories. She's like, this is the greatest thing to happen in 2025.
Yeah.
Is this movie. Her sons are obsessed.
No, it's funny because I've actually seen a lot of parents talking about it. And they're like, thank goodness for this movie. I like this so much better than Frozen. Like I've seen a lot of people saying that, like parents, you know, who have like survived the impact of Frozen when that first came out, are like so grateful for this movie because they're like, I actually love this, and like I haven't watched Frozen in 2 months.
I love that you bring up Frozen because I think with the themes in K-pop Demon Hunters, it is very conceal, don't feel. It's very much
it's
very that. And it's very much like we're going to do this sisterly love, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're going to have this like friendship that we're putting at the forefront of the story. There's romance, and I was really locked into that romance, y'all. They really got me. They really got me. But that's neither here nor there right now. The point is, if we're talking about the empowerment and sort of like comparing to like the Frozen era to now this K-pop Demon Hunters era, long may she reign. I think that K-pop Demon Hunters just is multi-generational in a way that Frozen wasn't.
Yeah.
I think K-pop Demon Hunters appeals to a broader scope of people without feeling like it's pandering. I feel like it's so funny and it's so silly sometimes and campy even. And I think that'll appeal to young kids, but then also it's really heartfelt and it has these really really universal and beautiful deep themes of insecurities and overcoming that and loving yourself and accepting yourself and owning who you are, and trying to be the best version of yourself and all of those different things that then these kids can grow up with and look back and feel nostalgic about, but then also discover new things as they get older. And then for us, we're already here like, wow, for me it was just healing. It was just felt like a sort of, I know this kind of gets to be cliche, but that sort of inner child healing kind of feeling.
Yeah.
You know, it just touched on a lot of that. And then I feel like for older generations as well, it's something that they can just see people celebrating and just having so much fun with. And they can get swept up in the fun too. I don't think that being a music stan for any genre, but particularly K-pop for sure, there's no age limit, there's no demographic barriers. Like everyone is welcome to have fun with it. And I think that's what K-pop Demon Hunters does so well, that maybe a Frozen, you know, because for me, Frozen, it was cute. It was all right.
Yeah.
Well, I think
I mean, what'd you say?
I loved Frozen.
Oh, I love Frozen. No, I love Frozen. I think that to your point, Bryce, what's really cool about how K-pop Demon Hunters like spans generations and can be more enjoyable for parents of young kids who are now obsessed with this is that like the music is very catchy in a mainstream way. Like at its core, the movie is a musical. It's musical and it's very theatrical. But the music itself is presented in the K-pop style, which makes it feel more contemporary and like something parents would hear on the radio instead of being so deeply musical theater like the songs from Frozen. And not everybody likes musical theater. I think they're insane. But not everybody does, and that's okay. And I just I
we
think
love
that
musical theater in this space.
We're big musical theater fans here.
Which speaking of though, like, well, I mean, I obviously, I have 17,000 things to say about it, the musical theater aspect of this, but is there not a like deluxe edition of this soundtrack yet?
Because that I know of.
Because there's his intro song when he like flies in is not on the album.
Is so good.
Also, the intro, the vocals when the first hunters are sealing the HONMOON in the very beginning, sort of in that prologue where they're establishing the lore. People are going crazy on the internet, like, where is this? Why can't I listen to this on any streaming? Like,
they need to release other music.
Because the soundtrack is basically just like the EP, which also, I don't know why Takedown is listed first on the soundtrack.
That's because that version, the first version of Takedown that's on the soundtrack is by Twice. And that's
the Twice version.
So Twice, 3 girls from Twice do the Korean dub of the movie, and they sing a version of Twice in the credits. And also Twice is sort of embedded throughout the film. You'll see them on posters when Bobby, the manager,
they're on the chart.
Their chart, yes. So Twice
was
is
that
sort of like
their like
affiliated
single that they were trying to like? Is that like the Peebo, Bryce, and Celine Beauty and the Beast of the sound of the album?
Yeah, like the credits.
Yes.
When they do the song in the credits, that's Twice doing it.
Oh, okay.
And Twice is an actual K-pop
I'm surprised that they.
The Ariana Grande.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they decided. Do you think that they thought that was the song that was going to stick as opposed to Golden?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know, because I was a little shocked that we were getting Takedown in the end as well. I was also shocked that that was what Twice was focusing on. But I think as far as like K-pop vibe and like performance elements, Takedown is the one that'll be more approachable for them to perform. Golden, to have someone try and perform that live multiple times around the world. I mean, because we know that EJ, the singer who wrote and then sang for Rumi, that she can do that. She can sing down, and the Twice girls can sing down too. Yeah. However, I wouldn't put that on them to go do out there live. I wouldn't put that on anybody to do. Yeah,
I think Takedown fits better in Twice's repertoire.
Yes.
Just kind of in general, like as a K-pop group.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like you said, like is easier and more suitable for them to perform live than to do Golden.
Mm-hmm.
You think Golden is the new Never Enough?
I mean, are we gonna start getting calls for K-pop Demon Hunters corporate events?
Oh, that's what he has said a million times.
I have a Rumi bound already ready. I already have. Like,
I know you liked it. Did you see Plastique Tiara's?
Yes.
From Rumi
Ginu,
to
no. Plastique did Rumi and did Ginu and slayed both down.
That's insane.
It's an insane cosplay.
I have now seen like 4 different videos of girls making Rumi wigs. And I'm like, well, I need one.
Yeah.
What am I going to use it for? I don't know. Maybe I'll wear it in DCOM Live, but now I want one.
Yeah.
When we do the Cheetah Girls, we'll actually be coming out.
We're actually coming out as Rumi, Zoe, and Mira.
Well, to go back to the musical theater thing, because I just like have to say this is my like musical theater scholar. I actually really wanted to wear my Jonathan Bailey slutty little glasses for this episode to say that it's my like musical theater scholar moment. I told Bryce, I think that this is the best musical since Hamilton.
No, you texted me that.
I think this is the best musical since Hamilton, period. I believe that. Because what I said was like it's breaking through, like we talked about this with Jesus Christ Superstar, like it's breaking into culture. But like the gag of this movie is that like musical theater is always like, oh no, like we don't write bops. Like, no, we don't do that. No, but the musical theater community actually really looks down on their pop formula. Huh, Pascal Paul? Oh, because you said that. Well, Connor said, tell that to Pascal Paul because he loves Pascal Paul's bops. But like, I think musical theater people they're like, oh, well, they figured out how to write like one pop song. And so did any of that make sense? Was that the most ADHD sentence?
But
no, you'd make sense. You're direct to the camera. Well, Connor said. Yeah.
Well, because with Pascal and Paul, though, I feel like I hear where Connor's coming from with that. I think there's a style of musical theater that has become a little more mainstream or mainstream in style or even mainstream pandering where they're just trying to tap into it. And Passing and Paul, they be writing some musical theater bops for sure, but are they musical theater bops that are standalone in like the mainstream music spaces? That's not
the crazy thing, right? Is like lyrically, we're used to musicals where lyrically they are so set in the context of the musical, which I think is really thanks to Sondheim. Like he made his music so insanely intentional that it works in no other context except in the exact moment of that musical.
Right.
But like the fact that when you listen to all of these pop songs from K-pop Demon Hunters, they are total standalone songs. So like, I'm sorry, the lyrics to the
Free?
What we sound like. This is what we sound like. Of like, I wanted to read them, but my phone is recording. But like, we should have let the light seen the broken glass. Like
I have my iPad. Hold on.
No, like those lyrics are absolutely stunning.
100%. And we can't overlook Free. I feel like Free doesn't get the love that it deserves. Free. And I am very passionate about this because I have to say I like audibly gasped when the song started because I was like, okay. And then when Ginu came in and he was spitting bars, but his bars were introspective. And I was like, oh, you're finding things out about yourself and also you're like falling in love with Rumi and you guys are bonding over your healing, you know what I mean? Like they were because it wasn't trauma bonding. In that moment they were trying to move past something and they were doing it together and the lyrics reflected that. And I have to say, like let me pull up the lyrics.
Well, I have the what it sounds like lyrics while you look for those that like I broke into a million pieces and I can't go back, but now I'm seeing all the beauty in the broken glass. Are you kidding?
Mm-hmm.
So good.
So The Scars Are Part of Me, Darkness and Harmony. Like, it's also not, I don't know if it's just their voices that are so incredible and the production of the track that's so incredible, but I do think that there's a world in which some of this could have come across really chuggy in a musical theater space, but
Totally.
I buy everything.
Eating it up.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel cliche. We're shattering the silence. We're rising defiant. Where's my favorite? It's we broke into a million pieces and we can't go back, but now we're seeing all the beauty in the broken glass. I read that one. Oh, here it is. Get up and let the jagged edges meet the light instead. I said,
good.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That was like poetic.
Yes.
Poetic and poignant, meaningful, emotional, and inspiring. I mean, just that whole sequence. I also love the lighting in that sequence. I mean, we got to get into the animation as well. We have to get into the visuals that they're giving too, because they gave a full experience with that sequence, especially Rumi coming from sort of looking a bit like ragged and dark. She has a one side of her that's darkly lit, and then the eye, the demon eye and everything. So she's sort of split, and we don't know which way she's going to go. And I wasn't sure when I first watched it. I remember thinking, okay, wow, are they really just going to have her lean into this? And then maybe Genu is going to be like, no, Rumi, like, this isn't you. You got it. Maybe he's switching. I didn't know what they were going to do with it. And I was intrigued. They had me in the palm of their hand. I really was like so tapped into this film. And then when she looked up and snapped out of it and was like, well, we need to build a new one. We starting to HONMOON over from scratch. Okay. And we're doing it with love and authenticity this time. I loved that. I loved the intention behind that. And then everything got so quiet. Not even fate. They cut to black. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I know they're not about to do no credit roll right now. I thought, it felt like a palate cleanser. It felt like a clean slate. It felt like an ending. You know, at the end of Lord of the Rings, the end of Return of the King, there's like 5 different endings because they keep fading to white, fading to black, fading to white, all that, you know. That's what this felt like. And I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Because also Sony likes to do a cliffhanger, if we recall with Spider-Verse, you know. Mm-hmm.
I've never seen Spider-Verse.
It's so good, so worth it.
I know.
So worth it. But in the second film, that cliffhanger was criminal. And so I wasn't sure what they were going to do. And then when she just starts slowly walking forward with intention and singing, and whenever Rumi sings in her lower register, and she's that grounded and raw, that just, something about that felt also just very meaningful to me throughout the movie. Mm-hmm. Because she's always soaring. That's where, she's showing off, but also she's feeling good and comfortable. But when she's at the bottom of her range, she's saying something. And the lyrics are always really cutting through. And they always establish really important lyrics when she's at the bottom of her voice.
They do use her range very strategically.
Masterfully.
And while we're on that moment, like, I always say that, like, you know, a movie musical like Dreamgirls is like kind of cheating in the sense that, like, when the musical songs are songs that are like in performance, I'm like, well, it's not like a true musical because it's not their souls.
Diegetic versus non-diegetic music.
Right.
Yeah.
Throwback, right. Like they're
does the music exist in the world? Or is it something that we are only perceiving?
But the way that this movie like goes in and out of that is
we hear Takedown across the span of like 20 minutes because it starts and then it goes away and then it comes up again when they're fighting and then it goes away and then it comes up again when,
right, because it's like it is their performance song, but it's also like their battle song or like I'm thinking too at the very like beginning of the movie when they start How It's Done, they're like that starts as like a musical theater song but then goes into the performance. But that's what's crazy about that final moment is that like when she starts singing a cappella, it's like not a pop song. Like it's very much that like this is happening for the first time in the moment, which is like musical theater magic, but then it like
becomes their performance.
Yeah, like you know all the memes of like when everybody breaks down into song at the same time, like they did that in a way that was like really not cheesy at all and like so very organic. Serious and very organic for an animated movie about a singing girl group. Like it was just the way they navigated all of those like musical theater nuances was like really not anything I've seen. Like in a long time, maybe ever.
And I think the really big thing for me too is like all of these things that we're pointing out with the music are so incredible, and the layer that all of these songs, all these K-pop bops that they wrote for this movie are amalgamations of what's already out there in K-pop. The movie represented so well what K-pop culture has been and what it's grown to be, and I think it was a really cool love letter to K-pop in that sense. From just from a fan outside looking in, you know.
Yeah, even in like the cinematography of the way that it was animated, there are so many moments that are like, this is so quintessentially K-pop. Like
Totally.
It's so quintessentially the way they would shoot a K-pop music video, or the way they would edit a K-pop music video.
What an amazing
Brilliant. It's
video.
So good. And like the way that like the proverbial like camera pans and shifts focus when they're dancing and when the formations change, it's so quintessentially K-pop. It's like very, very cool how many of those elements.
You said the formations, and I'm like, the choreography was
Zach can't get over the choreo and the costumes.
Oh
He's
my
like,
goodness.
I know this is animated, but the costumes and choreography need an Oscar. Like,
and they're so spot on, because also for the Saja Boys, especially their introduction to the human world, when they're sort of in their bright colors and everything, and they perform Soda Pop for the first time, those looks, I mean, Gino particularly, I was like, BTS. And then they're, you know what I mean? Like, and I think what I found interesting too is that seeing the different K-pop stans talking about the film, and the Saja Boys particularly, and everyone is sort of, I think, placing their favorite group onto the Saja Boys.
Yeah,
I think everyone is seeing their favorite, and I thought that was also done in a way that there are a lot of inspirations for them, and I think it's so clear where the BTS inspirations are, where the Stray Kids inspiration, TXT, and Hypen, ATEEZ. Your idol is straight up ATEEZ to me, and I'm not even an ATEEZ stan, but I know enough of them and their aesthetic and their vibe to know just where they pulled all of these great references that are out there in these various groups, and to kind of shape them and represent all of them at once.
Yeah.
In that way, it was so well done. I honestly was a little skeptical with how they were going to do it, and I thought it was just going to be BTS coded across the board. I also thought that the girls Huntrix were just going to be Blackpink coded, because there's 3 of them and Blackpink is 4, and so, you know, smaller group. But it really was a beautiful amalgamation of like all of the different groups and all the things that people love about these different groups.
I was trying to find a clever way to like bring this in, but I'm just going to say it. Bryce literally has done stuff for BTS.
Oh. Yeah.
Like,
really? I didn't know that.
Yes. Will you share? Will you share yours? Because she's such a huge K-pop fan. So when she actually got to like do this with like, it was pretty. So can you share?
Yeah, so I got to sing backup for BTS.
That's so crazy, bro.
It literally is still kind of like peak for me of like the career things that just sort of like came to be through networking and just amazing friends that I've made in the industry. Diedrich Bonner is an incredible vocalist, but he's also an incredible, he's a vocal arranger. And so he does the background vocal arrangements for BTS. And, or at least their LA stuff when they come to the States. And so I tried to get into this gig a couple of times, because when Diedrich found out that I was a K-pop fan, he was like, oh, if I'd known, you would have been in there. Because I come from like musical theater and classical background. I'm not necessarily a pop singer. So, and people don't think of me that way typically. So for these gigs, I wasn't really on his radar. But he's brought me in for like classical stuff, musical theater stuff. And now with the K-pop, he was like, okay, let's try and make this work. And the next time there was an opening, I was like, I'll drive down, like at the drop of a hat, just let me know.
Yeah.
And we did a live concert thing in the Mojave Desert. We sang just out in the middle of nowhere at this like abandoned water park kind of place.
Okay.
And I got to meet them in person, which was kind of like absolutely wild.
They're so hot.
We
so
did
painful
we did
how
studio stuff.
they are.
No, seriously, we did studio stuff, and I was like, okay, that's the extent of it. But then we actually got to like be present at like on location with them, and I got to shake a few of their hands and hug a few of them. I think the only one that I didn't get to like meet was Yoongi, because he likes his space anyway. But he kind of was like polite hello and goodbye. But my bias, RM, the leader, I got to say hey to him a couple of times. He came over.
No big deal.
He came over and he was, oh my gosh, my heart is even like, I can't even.
I love this. I love it. I love it.
So, he came over to introduce himself and chat with us, which was very kind, especially as the leader. Like, he was very, like, professional and stuff. And then, you know, it's COVID time. So, you know, people typically were going for a dap or like an elbow tap or something like that. But he kind of went, I wasn't sure if we were doing handshake because I shook a couple of the other guys' hands. So I was like, and then so I kind of like fumbled that and it was really embarrassing and I felt like an idiot. But I literally was like so enamored with this man and like seeing him in real life. I was like, hi. Nice to meet you. 안녕하세요. And like, I like pulled out like my 5 Korean words that I know.
That's amazing.
And I was really kind of the only one in the background singers who like was a stan and like knew all of their names and like, you know, followed the group for a while. And so I was like, okay, so this one's that one and this one's that one. And there were a couple times during like the shoot where they would like, you know, interact with us and it was just like really nice and I loved it so much. And
that's so amazing.
I bring it up too because it's like, I feel like such a thesis of our podcast is like fans doing the things that they love, like in a professional setting.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know, and so like, I love that Diedrich was like, oh, you're a K-pop girly. We're getting you on the K-pop gig.
I mean, shout out to Diedrich wholly for this. Like, wholeheartedly, thank you. Because I think once you're sort of... K-pop is pretty high profile these days. It's just gotten more and more high profile. BTS really kind of, like, opened the floodgates for it to be globally recognized in the way that it is now. And so all this to say... if they trust you, then, you know, you're sort of like in the circle of people that they'll call back. And so I got to sing backup on several other tracks of theirs as well. And once they started rolling into the military and they were doing more solo projects, I sang backup on RM's solo album, like the group of us, Diedrich and the rest of us, we sang backup on his album. And then also on Jimin's album. And Jimin had this song where he really wanted to be epic. And it sort of starts with this choral big sound that he wanted, and he wanted to be just very sort of operatic. And so Diedrich was like, okay, we're in this K-pop world, but all right, soprano, do your thing. And so I got to do this like really big soprano-y high note moment in the beginning of Jimin's song, which for me, because you can like clearly hear my voice on it.
Yeah.
And
oh my gosh, I don't know if I've heard. I need to listen now.
Yeah, we have to listen.
Oh, I'll have to. I can't believe I haven't like shoved this in here.
No, I need to hear this immediately.
Because for me, it was just a beautiful kind of like worlds colliding kind of thing. I got to bring my classical training and what I feel is my strength when I sing to this K-pop world where I never thought I would be able to sort of like see them intersect in that way. That also is the beauty of K-pop. It really does sort of pull from different genres and styles. There's a lot of Western pop influence. Hip-hop is really a big influence for K-pop. And also Latin pop. And right now, Afro beats are really popular in K-pop. You're going to hear a lot of that. If you start tapping into K-pop now, there's a lot of songs that are pulling different tracks like that. There's just a lot of different sounds and a lot of different representation.
You know, it's like... it's interesting when you just think about like vocal styles, like when boy bands, like when NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and when there was like Britney time, I'm like thinking of the musicals that were on Broadway in 1998, 1999, 2000, and it was like ragtime. Like Broadway was not, there wasn't a Broadway musical that was like, oh, we should do that sound and bring it to here. And I think that's what was revolutionary about Hamilton, right? Is he's like, why are we not rapping? Like we can spit bars on Broadway. And so for but boy band style, like group singing style, like K-pop, like all of that is like very musical theater sounding, like in the realm of like just joyous, fun, like harmonious, like
storytelling.
Yeah. And so it's interesting. Like, I'm just curious to see how this will affect. I just feel that Broadway specifically, not musical storytelling as a whole, but like Broadway is just so behind on like modern production and development of sound. And so I'm like, because, you know, you can't do K-pop Demon Hunters on Broadway with you'd have to reimagine how you thought of the sound design and sound production.
Yeah,
like they would
sure.
they would need sweetener vocals, they would need
Yeah.
a lot of digital synth stuff. Like you wouldn't be having an 8-piece orchestra a la like trumpets and violins and
Right.
oh my god, yeah,
not,
Patti LaBelle.
not Patti
You're my
LuPone.
soda pump.
No.
No. Soda pump.
Patti LuPone. Patti LuPone sings "Golden." Go.
No more hiding, no one shining like I'm supposed to be. I can't keep going high. I can't keep going.
Oh.
That's going on TikTok.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's going on TikTok.
Wow.
but
The
like-
accuracy of that was
It was frightening.
it chilled me to my bones.
I almost had to leave the room.
No. Everything about that was wrong. But you know what I also said? You know what I said to Kaylin? I said, respectfully and disrespectfully, I do not want a K-pop Demon Hunters Broadway musical. I want that shit at the Sphere in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Keep that out of the Bernard Jacobs 800-seat theater.
Yeah.
With some
Put it in the Sphere.
with some white girls, over enunciating with vibrato. I want the Sphere.
Yeah. Like, and especially like the stage that rises, like just
Yes.
thinking about like the Saja boys, like during Your Idol and like the
Yes.
state.
Like,
Sorry.
that's
Epic.
I turned into an old man.
Yeah. Well, and remember, and I also like really not to go down a musical theater rabbit hole. What happened to the K-pop?
I was gonna bring it up,
Broadway
but I wasn't
musical.
sure. I didn't. Yeah, because it came and it went, and
There was
wonder-
it was called
Yes.
K-pop the musical,
Yeah, I
right?
remember.
Yeah. And when you were talking about sound design, I was wondering what they did, because a big part of K-pop culture, to be really, 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 really real, is lip syncing. A really big
Right.
part of it. And for some people, for some idols, it's taboo, and they're like, no, we sing live, and fans will kind of like, be weird about it. And then for others, it's sort of like, okay, well, we know that they don't sing live, but they dance down because all the groups
Yeah.
are moving up there. You can't expect for these groups to bring the level of performance that they do with the movement and everything, and then expect for every inch of it to be performed like live with vocals.
So
You
does
just
like,
can't.
if you were to go see like Cat's Eye in concert, do they have like the climb moment where they all sit on a stool and sing?
Well,
Or
I
is it
don't-
just dancing the whole time?
So the only K-pop concert that I have been able to go to was 217 concerts. I was never able to see BTS in concert, and I always thought that I was like, why me? And then I got to work with them and was like, okay, universe, you had other plans.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real?
So I was like, okay, cool, I'll take that one. But I never got to see them in concert. I've seen videos and stuff, but with 17 in particular, who I've seen live twice now, sometimes they do like a park and bark, but with big groups like that, they have subunits. So they have vocalists who are comfortable doing that. Not everyone in the group is, going to be the one who's going to be a part of that park and bark. There's going to be like 5 of them that come out and do that. They also do what's called ments, which is basically like a comment section where every member gives a comment to the audience where they some sort of sentiment of like, thanks, gratitude for being amazing fans and for this love and support they've given. And then that's sort of like the sort of come down moment, but not necessarily singing to them and giving a raw vocal. So those are like the standstill moments in concerts.
Yeah.
But not every group is going to have, all right, and let's just like show off the voce. That's not typically how they operate. But some groups kind of forge their own rules with that. But yeah, there are some K-pop idols who can absolutely sing down live, like up in the stratosphere,
Yeah,
male and
it's-
female.
Because, Connor and I have like had so many conversations about just like the literal development of the technology of microphones and mixing. And so it's like, it would not be accurate to K-pop to do it in a traditional Broadway style where they're
No.
singing everything with just a microphone here. You know
No,
what I
it would
mean?
ha- it
Like
would have
they
to
would have to
be-
really reinvent.
Yeah, it would have to be an amalgamation of something completely new and something akin to like Six.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It would have to be built kind of with that principle
And
of like, this is a concert. We all have handhelds that we have
and in-ears
and in-ears and we have specific places on our costumes where those handhelds go when we're dancing. It would have to be that or a Britney Spears mic or
they do the Britney mic
similar.
a lot in K-pop. That would probably be a way to go so that they can, because with the choreo they need a lot of times they need hands free, but some idols prefer handhelds regardless, so you'll see a mixture in groups. Some will have the Britney mic and some will have handhelds, and they'll all be doing the same choreo. It's just a little harder for the ones with the handhelds, but they prefer to self mix. And so, that's kind of when like, okay, so you're tapped into the sound and the vocal technique of it all.
It makes me, I'm not even trying to be shady when I say this, it makes me wonder if like the Descendants Zombies tour like pulled some style from the K-pop concerts since they were lip syncing.
Yeah.
Probably. Which like but it's not, oh, they were lip singing. It's just like they're literally dancing down.
They were like dancing their asses off.
And do that.
And it's like, what do you want? If you want all of this movement, because the choreography is always fire. Like K-pop concerts, I mean, oh my gosh, anytime I watch videos and from what I've seen live, it is so exciting to see. But they are also like pushing their bodies to the limit. The choreo is so involved. Every beat has a different move. Like there's not a lot of like breath in the choreography because it's always so exciting visually. So if the fans want that, they're gonna have to sacrifice the live vocals. And there are a lot of groups though who strive to do a mix of letting the sweetener take it. I mean, and then because even we love the Queen, but even Beyonce does this. Let the sweetener take a section while I dance down, and then I'm going to take my good grounded breath, and then I'm going to sing the part that y'all all want to hear, the exciting part, and then I'm going to get back into the choreo, and then let the chorus go on, and y'all can sing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Finding that balance.
A lot of
really
major artists do that. They'll track their choruses and sing verses and bridges just to like give themselves a break.
Absolutely. It's part of the professional model now.
Right. Yep. To seg a little bit into like the animation style, because you're also an anime fan and I don't know a lot of anime, but I will say like my second to this is to say my other like scholarly slutty little glasses branded thing that I said was I like did genuinely have this moment of like Howard Ashman would have loved this movie, because what I feel like I've heard him say when he talked about like Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast was that like, and what I believe in strongly too is that like, what is like the best medium for this story to be told? Like Little Mermaid is best told as an animated film, so is Beauty and the Beast. Like the live actions were good, the Broadway musicals are good, but like it is best as an animated movie. There's a reason it's an animated movie, and there's something only an animated movie can do in that story. And that is how I felt with K-pop Demon Hunters. I was like, I don't think like a live action version of this would have, like, there would have been something missing.
Yeah, or even a different animation style. It wouldn't have been correct.
Right.
100%.
Like, and so I just am
think
curious.
They are planning or thinking about live action. I mean, because the world that they built is so expansive. I feel like there's a lot of, they gave it a great foundation with the lore that they established in the beginning. And
I support it. Like I'll go see a live action. I just was like,
no, I'm conflicted. Because I don't want them to get too deep into franchise land. I think a spin-off series where we get a new bop every episode or something, because they wrote a lot of music. They have a lot of excess music that they didn't use for this movie that didn't quite make the cut, that they're probably still honing and polishing up, that will be amazing, but just not maybe right for this particular film or this iteration of the film. So there's a lot more to do here. We also got to know what happened with Rumi's mama, like how she get caught up with that demon.
How'd she get caught up with the demon? How did she die?
There were a lot of cliffhangers in this movie.
Yeah.
They just dropped that, and that's huge, especially in the context of this world where like demons are so taboo, especially for hunters. Yeah. But Rumi's mom not only, got with this demon man, procreated, and then just like fell off the face of the earth after procreating with this demon man, and then is still being revered as a hunter. The remaining hunter who raised Rumi wasn't bashing Rumi's mom or anything, or wasn't.
No, like Rumi's mom is not villainized.
She's not villainized at all.
And it's like, okay, but why? Because she had a demon baby.
Celine's not a hunter, right?
She was.
Yeah, she was.
Oh, she was.
In the
with
opening,
Rumi's mom.
In the opening sequence, when they show through the decades all the different hunters, she was in the group with her mom, with Rumi's mom, and so she
also,
knew her directly.
That opening with like all the girl groups, like through the time,
it
was giving Sinners.
Was Sinners. It's the opening of Sinners.
I was like, it's
yes,
yes, it was crazy.
Yeah, which I think is so brilliant. And to your point, Bryce, about how like there is so much lore that can continue to be explored. I think they did such a good job of giving us exactly what we needed to understand this movie and the importance of the events in this movie, while leaving enough questions open-ended that there are possibilities for a sequel or a spin-off or a, like, you know, whatever. Like,
totally.
People want the answers to those questions. I want the answers to some of those questions. And I think that there is a world in which we could get some of those. I just, you know, I hope that they would do it the right way and not
I hope so too.
Go full franchise land with it.
Yeah, because to circle it back then to your original question, Jacob, about like, you know, is live action a way to go, and like the different animation styles and stuff that exist out there. And the one they chose suited this film so well, suited this story so well, like you said. And if they do the spinoffs, I personally wouldn't want to shift, you know, because we've seen like from film to like, even Disney is just an immediate example, but from film to then the spin-off series, you know, you see a shift and sometimes a downgrade in animation quality because the budget is just not there, and it's not a talent issue at all. It's just budget and what they're capable of doing in a certain amount of time. But with the way that technology has advanced and with the budget that I would imagine K-pop Demon Hunters has amassed since it's been out and been so successful, and they just got this theatrical release, I would love to see the quality stay the same, unless they kind of pull what Spider-Verse did and give us, you know, different glimpses of styles, you know, with different music influences in K-pop. You know, if they show different genres or different groups, maybe different groups have a different stylized animation vibe. It's
one of my favorite things about the Spider-Verse movies is how like Spider-Punk is animated in a completely different way than everything else in the movie, and it's like noticeable. It's so freaking cool.
I really
and
need
it
to
looks
see
good it all looks good in the same space. I think it's really hard to do that without everything looking disjointed, but in Spider-Verse everything does kind of come together in a way that is visibly chaotic but somehow still harmonious. It's a really weird balance that they found, and it's all Sony, so it's all in the family. So if they can find a way to do that with K-pop Demon Hunters, I would be open to that. But I do really like the polish. I do really like the sort of 3D element with this style. Also, Kaylin, you mentioned sort of camera angles before too. I think with this style of animation, you do also get really good, like with 3D models, you know, you can sort of rotate around them and things like that. In the fight sequences, I felt like we were getting that sort of rotation around the characters.
They were shot like an action movie.
Yeah.
Like it was
shot like live action.
Digital cinematography is so good.
The thing that makes me a little nervous about any sort of sequel is like, do they go back to Sony? Or like, does Netflix animation department take on this IP? Right, because
I feel like
I saw that like Sony developed this IP, this movie, and they basically kind of like abandoned it and like sold it to Netflix to release it. Did you see this?
No.
So apparently, in the Instagram video that I have not fact checked, Sony like developed this like,
we're not journalists, okay? We're podcasters.
Like Spider-Verse, like for a theatrical release, like they invested all this money and they just were like, they kind of just like gave up on it. And so rather than like shelve it permanently, they sold it to Netflix. And the contract was that they would make $20 million off of, or that they would make a cut of the sales until 20 million, and then after that Netflix gets to keep everything after that.
So Netflix made a fat check.
Yeah, and Sony has been completely screwed because now this is this huge hit. But if the whole story and it's all Sony's animators, is Netflix going to have to go back to Sony?
We're in an age right now. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just like, but because Netflix has their own animation department.
If they were smart, they would go back to Sony because of it is part of, like, Sony being part of it, I think is fundamental to what makes it so successful.
Right, but will Sony say, yeah, but you got to give us, you know what I mean? Like, are we going to get caught up in such an intense contract negotiation that we're not even going to get a sequel?
Like with Spider-Man in the MCU.
But then, frankly, Sony should get a bigger cut. They should get the money. They should negotiate for more, and they should actually get it. We're in an age right now where art is under fire, where we're fighting against the existential crisis of AI, and we're fighting against these big companies and all of this money. We're fighting against capitalism to kind of like hold on to the essence of what art is, which is, I mean, K-pop Demon Hunters is bringing people together. Whether people are tapped into it or not, they know about it. And for the folks that are tapped in, which are a very diverse grouping of people, I mean, it's just like people from different facets of my own life where I'm like, why do you know what this movie is? And why do you love it so much? And now we can talk about it and bond over it. And also gives them a glimpse into my nerdiness with musical theater and anime and K-pop. Just, it's this thing that brings people together, and that's the essence of art. And if Netflix, for the sake of making more money, tries to shut out the artists who were the ones to breathe life into this, I think that the fandom of K-pop Demon Hunters, which is very fierce and mighty and growing by the day, are going to have a lot to say about it. And I think that we've seen fans make very drastic shifts to franchises. We've seen it with like Sonic and other things like where fans see that's not the character I know and love. That's not the movie. That's not the world. That's not the IP that I know and love. What have you done to it? And if we're loud enough, then hopefully the right things will happen. But I mean, it would behoove Netflix to go about this the right way.
Right way, for sure.
Yeah. And I don't think that they would let you can't let like a gold mine pass you by.
You can't.
It would be really.
They're going to try to figure out a way to make more money for less, but I think it would be really, really dumb of them to completely subvert Sony because that's, what created this. Bryce, I do have to tell you, because I know that you're not only a K-pop fan, but an anime fan for a long time. Like since the movie came out up until I first watched it, which was like 2 weeks ago, I called the movie very confidently K-pop Demon Slayer. Which is, if you don't know, an amalgamation of the actual name of the movie and an anime called Demon Slayer. So I called it K-pop Demon Slayer. And I said that to somebody who is also an anime fan, and she started dying laughing. And I was like, that's not the name of it, is it? And she was like, no, but honestly, that would be kind of a sick crossover.
It really would, because the trope of demons and them not really being everything that they've been portrayed to be, which is just like straight up evil, full stop, that's a really big trope in anime. It's a really big trope in a lot of like Asian folklore and storytelling and media, like with, dramas and animation. And so like seeing it immediately, I feel like any anime lover is going to watch K-pop Demon Hunters and clock just that. It's like, okay, it's giving Demon Slayer. Okay, it's giving Blue Exorcist. Okay, it's giving Kami-sama Kiss. Okay, it's giving, like, there's so many, like the anime that there's just so many. Those are the ones that I'm rolling off the top of my head, because there's the trope of the, the 1,000-year-old demon who's like super hot and
always.
and then is like really, somehow into this like sexual tension or like this great romantic chemistry with the heroine of the story. And that for me, like growing up watching Kami-sama Kiss was like, that's what that anime is about, which watching it back as an adult, I'm like, questionable. She's a teenager. Rumi's grown. We're assuming that these girls are all like, adults.
Yeah. I think I saw somewhere that they're like canonically like 25 or 26.
Okay, love that for them, especially considering that Genu was like hundreds of years old.
Yeah, Genu's 400. It's giving Edward and Bella. Like, let's just be honest.
Totally. It absolutely falls into like the vampire.
It's giving
love
age
story
gap
canon.
Romance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's a huge trope.
Hilarious.
It's such a huge trope.
Yeah.
And then the demon redemption arc is really big. I think that's really big in media in general right now, but also in my life. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard of Has Been Hotel, but for me, I'm obsessed with that show because it's this idea that like even demons can strive to be better and then somehow be redeemed, if they work hard enough at themselves. And it just then becomes this greater theme of that, people can't be reduced to a sliver of, a mistake. Genu's mistake was awful. It was also 400 years ago. And it feels like he is feeling remorse and regret. So can he be redeemed? That's the question. That's the question with Has Been Hotel. It's like, for all of the heinous things that people did to end up in hell, and there are plenty of heinous things that people do in this world, is there any room for forgiveness, redemption? Is there anything that they can do to grow and evolve? And I think if we just kind of bring it to the human level, there are a lot of things that humans do on this earth. And before we even get into the afterlife, can people be redeemed? Can people look past their own insecurities and their own mistakes? And I think that's something interesting, that this trope, this sort of demon trope that comes up in Asian folklore, is really fascinating to me.
That's really beautiful. Well,
Bryce, thank you so much.
This was like the best conversation, because I knew that this was what it would be, and I knew that we could have either done this on a phone call for only the two of us, or we could have other people listen to you talk about this.
My brain has exclusively been K-pop Demon Hunters and the Zodiac Academy book series for like the past 2.5 weeks. It's about that. All I've thought about. So I'm really glad that we had this conversation and are going to put it on the internet.
Can I just ask top 2 favorite songs from the movie real quick? Can we end on that note? Because I'm so curious.
Okay, listen. Soda Pop is a Jacob Heron bop.
Jacob loves Soda Pop.
I have a playlist called the Jacob Heron Bop, and it's like just the major, joyful, and the fact that they're giving us that like major boy band, like with a keychain, with a musical theater key change.
Totally.
Yeah.
And also, have you seen the TikTok that's like when you actually listen to the lyrics of Soda Pop?
Especially when you listen to the full version on the soundtrack. But that's what I'm talking about with these lyrics. They was tapped in. They were like, the Saja Boys are saying some things.
Because some K-pop songs are like a bit raunchy.
A bit. Okay, yes.
Hello?
Yeah.
And then my second favorite is, I feel like saying Golden is your favorite is like saying Mickey Mouse is your favorite Disney character.
I don't
like
think
you
so.
can't do that.
It's a damn good song.
Do what is right for your spirit. No judgment.
It is excellently crafted.
I love how it's done.
Yeah.
That is going to be the song I listen to.
Yeah.
Like, I listen to that, like, before I'm walking in the audition room, like, as I'm walking into rehearsal.
It's
like,
a pump-up
when
song.
I need to know that I'm that bitch.
Totally.
That is what I'm listening to.
Yeah.
I feel that. I feel that heavy.
Love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Golden.
My top 2 are Your Idol and Free.
Those are my top 2.
Yeah.
Those are my top 2. Oh my God. Those are right. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, it's so pretty. It makes me want to cry. And then Your Idol makes me want to do very bad things.
Yes.
To an animated demon man. I don't care.
No, seriously, I don't know if the HONMOON would have been resealed if I was responsible for sealing it and I saw Your Idol. I would have been like,
well, HONMOON, goodbye.
I think maybe my soul might have been got that night if I was at that concert watching the song.
Gino could have had my soul for sure.
Like, wow.
And the animation of them like floating in the air, it's ridiculous.
We've watched it twice now, and every time we watch it, like when Your Idol starts, Zach is like, I could never wear that, but holy shit, they look cool. Yeah.
They do look cool, and I love that they sort of start with this like ominous like requiem like choral moment, and then it like just kind of gets really, because it just sort of like grounds that like sort of like sexy demon kind of thing. It's like taboo, but you also like really want it.
Yep.
And I'm so sorry. I don't mean to derail us even more. Who's your bias?
What does that mean?
So what they really do very well at the beginning of the film when they introduce the Huntrix is they have, from the fans' POV, the fan groupings like biases. So there's the group that's like, oh, I love Rumi. Oh, I love Zoe. Oh, I love Mira. And so they're shouting out their bias, the one that they look at the most, that they relate to the most, the one that they support the most.
Okay.
And then there's a thing called bias wrecker. And so then that would be the secondary person who kind of like, as you're watching your bias, you're like, oh, but okay, wait, they're so amazing. Oh my God, I love them. Okay. And so in the beginning, people are like, I love Rumi because of XYZ. I love Zoe because of XYZ, that kind of thing, how they relate to them, which was a beautiful peek into K-pop fan culture, because that is what it is. Like when I meet K-pop fans, I'm like, okay, so you love BTS, who's your bias? When I met BTS, my bias is RM. And so getting to meet my bias in person was like the craziest thing in the world.
It's like your favorite one.
I've never heard that, but I am obsessed.
So
my bias in Huntrix would be Mira.
Mm-hmm.
And my bias wrecker would probably be Rumi.
Girl, we are like locked in.
Yeah. And then for the Saja boys, my bias is Demon Genu and my bias wrecker is Human Genu.
I love how you did that because you played me. Okay. I like that. I wasn't even thinking about splitting them up like that, but I see it. I see the vision.
You see the vision.
I see the vision. For me, Huntrix, same. I think Mira, I don't know, something about me, I feel like I gravitate more to her. And then Rumi's my bias record because them vocals, you can't beat that. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's captivating.
Yeah.
For the Saja boys, Genu, Demon and Human, Genu is my bias. My bias wrecker is Mystery Saja.
Oh, yeah. I like Mystery.
Something about that Mystery. I don't know. It's something about him.
That's the hair, right?
Yes, that's the long hair. It's the purple, because purple's my color, you know. And I think there are real life human idols that I feel like he is like based off of, and they are the ones that pull my eye in those groups. Like he reminds me of Hyunjin in Stray Kids, and I'm like, okay, so you probably look like him underneath that hair, and if you look like him, then you my man. So that's why he's my bias record, because you can't see it, but it's the mystery of it. But
the mystery.
Okay, whatever you want it to be.
Well, I'm terrible. What are the two which one is which?
Mira is long pink hair.
Okay.
Zoe is like the short black hair. And then Rumi's the main one.
Which one is the one that like talks low and she's like
Mira.
Okay, yeah. So my bias is Rumi because I'm a basic girl and but my secondary bias, is that how you say it?
Bias wrecker.
Bias wrecker is
Mira.
Yeah. Purely because of the scene when she like walks in and she's like, "What's going on?" Because I was like, I love a conflict queen.
My Mira moment is when she sees the fan's tattoo on his body and she's like, sick. And I was like, because
Rumi and Zoe are like, oh, and Mira goes, sick. And I was like, that's my girl.
Same, dude. Like, I was like, I love this.
But yeah, and then my bias is Genu. But yeah, my bias Wrecker. Thank you. Sorry, I'm so nervous using new terms.
No, you're so new and I love it. We're guiding you through step by step.
Girl, the way that those hearts for pupils were smacking me in the face with Abby's shirt, I was like, I'm so basic.
You had the corn cob eyes and the melted butter. And
I actually think that one of my favorite pieces of animation is the entire movie is that he autographs by putting the paper and etching his abs.
So good.
It's ridiculous. It is
it's so good.
Stupid.
It's so good. I had to rewind it the first time I watched it because I was like, did I say that right?
I know. And also like the fact that his name is Abby. It's just like, yes.
It's brilliant. It's so good.
That's like calling Simba because it means what? The prince
means,
or the
lion,
king?
Right? Doesn't it mean
lion?
lion?
Oh, yeah, lion.
It just means lion.
Simba is lion in Swahili.
Yeah. Right on the nose, very meta. But I also love that all the boys, Abby included, like during Soda Pop, there's a close-up where you see their patterns and you see like the nail polish and you can also kind of see the makeup. You know what I mean? Like that's also very K-pop. The androgyny of the men in K-pop is so sexy to me. Yeah. And I also just love the fluidity of it. It's not anything that's like stigmatized. I think in general Korean culture there may be still some stigmas about how they present themselves in that kind of way, but I think in the K-pop world the idols are just a lot more like grounded and authentic in how they want to dress and how they want to express themselves, and makeup isn't as taboo, and I love that they're wearing skirts.
No, I feel like
the guys are wearing skirts and dresses and crop tops.
They just love like pretty like
the aesthetic.
People.
They love the aesthetic.
Like across the board.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bryce.
This was so outrageously fun. Yeah. Outrageous is my new favorite word.
Okay.
It's a great word. It's a great word.
I'm just using it all the time.
I love that.
I don't mean to be like Hot Ones and be like, look at the camera and tell us what you're up to. But
but like,
what am
you
I
do
up
have
to?
a show on October 3rd.
I was saying I'm up to Decom Live.
You do have a show on October 3rd.
Well, I'm
we
up
all
to
do.
a really cool thing called Decom Live that I get to do with these lovely people. I'm gesturing to like the general like other side of this camera. Decom Live October 3rd, but y'all can take that away better than I can. In Irvine at the Irvine Barclay Theater. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Okay. You heard it there.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah, some more new shows.
Some more new shows. And
More
some
new
that aren't in California.
Yeah.
We're going on the road, baby.
We're branching out. We're expanding. Yes, October 3rd. Decom Live.
I can't wait.
And we'll see you all in
a little later.
Yeah, a little later. I think we're going on a little hiatus, right?
From Haunted Mansion, sorry.
Oh. But because you're going out of town.
Yeah, I am going to be out of town. So we will have another episode that we could record next week, but I'll be out of town for the first 2 weeks of September.
Okay.
So we might be on a bit of a hiatus.
Yeah. But thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
And we'll see you later.
We'll see you next time.
We all got to do the finger hearts.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got to pull it out like Plastique did.
I love it. The Childless Millennials is a podcast hosted by Jacob Heron and Kaylin Kelly. The show is produced by Connor Warren Smith with music by Connor Warren Smith.